Today, my bee in my bonnet is about a recent episode of Good Morning Britain. I don't know if you watched it, but it was an imbalanced programme led by Liz Jones and Peter Purves on the 18th of May, which discussed whether there should be an NHS for pets. Peter Purves, my hero presenter from Blue Peter, is my hero no longer. The discussion about the high price of veterinary medicine and unregulated treatment for pets was misinformed, and there was no veterinary representative invited to participate. A fundamental point which pet owners generally fail to grasp is that medical care for pets costs, because we administer drugs mostly identical to those used in humans. We have practices in veterinary hospitals to pay for, staffing and other overheads. Just because we decided to study to help our furry friends doesn't mean that we can do it for free. If we all were given the costing of medical care we receive in the NHS, we might be less critical of veterinary fees. Certainly, there seems to be less of an issue in countries which have private healthcare, such as the US, where, in general, pet owners hold vets in similar regard to their medical colleagues. Not so in the UK, I'm afraid. We take our free healthcare for granted and get a big surprise when the cost of animal medical care becomes evident. I'm no longer in vet practice, but when I sit in the vet's waiting room with my own cats, I do get really disillusioned when I hear customers complaining about costs. Like any other business, vet practices have to charge for their services and operate effectively. One of my cats had chemotherapy recently, and fortunately she was insured as the cost was a few £1,000s. But when I tell some people, they shake their heads at how much the chemotherapy protocol cost for the cat. But do you know how much it costs for humans? A first consultation can cost £130. Drug costs thereafter can be £260 per session. So 8 rounds of chemo could cost you well over £2,000, and that's not including staff salaries. What about a broken leg and surgery? That'll be a minimum of £5,000, thank you very much. So I know these are just guides, but the point is we don't see the cost of our treatments, and that's why it's difficult to see veterinary healthcare in that context. I also haven't come across any vets who have gone into the profession for the money. Believe me, there are easier and faster ways to make money. We have to swear an oath and always put animal welfare first when planning care. Vets train for a minimum of 5 years at £9,000 fees per year. And they require very high grades in the first place to get into limited places in university. And if you specialise in a further discipline, then that will be another 3 to 4 years. So, come on, pet owners. Really consider carefully if you can afford to look after an animal before taking it on. Do realise that the NHS is free for us humans, and show your local vet a little love.